Welcome to my channel, Anime Cardio. In today's video, we'll be taking a deeper look at one of the most, if not the most important character in all of Tokyo Ghoul. For those of you who haven't yet had the opportunity to read Tokyo Ghoul, it's the story of humans and ghoul coexisting in secret. Ghouls are cannibalistic humanoid creatures who can only survive by feeding on humans, while an organization known as the Dose, or the CCG, hunts them down using quinkers, weapons created from ghoul organs. The series follows Kaneki, a shy student at Kami University, whose life takes a dramatic turn after going on a date with the ghoul Rize Kamishiro. What starts off as a normal evening quickly turns into a nightmare. Rize lures Kaneki into an alley and reveals herself to be a ghoul, attacking him with the intent to devour him. However, before she can finish the job, steel beams fall from a nearby construction site, crushing her and leaving Kaneki on the verge of death. To save his life, doctors unknowingly transplant Rize's organ into Kaneki, turning him into a half-ghoul and setting the events of the series in motion. Kaneki's journey from human to ghoul to One-Eyed King begins here, but today's video isn't about him. Today's video is about the true catalyst of Tokyo Ghoul, Rize Kamishiro, the story's shadow protagonist. Despite dying early in the series, Rize's presence is felt at nearly every critical point in the narrative. She's not just the reason Kaneki becomes a ghoul, her influence extends far beyond that moment. Rize, also known as the Binge Eater, was infamous among ghouls and investigators alike. Her voracious appetite and constant movement from ward to ward made her a threat even among her own kind. She wasn't just powerful, she was terrifyingly independent, seductive, and utterly selfish, manipulating others with her beauty while leaving behind destruction. But her story goes even deeper. Rize was actually born into the powerful and secretive Washu clan. As a child, she was raised in the Sunlit Garden, a secret breeding facility run by the Washu family, a powerful ghoul bloodline that hid within human society while leading the CCG. Though the Washu passed as humans, they were in fact pure-blooded ghouls. To maintain their lineage, they bred with human women to produce half-ghoul offsprings for control while preserving pure ghouls like Rize for the purpose of continuing the Washu's ghoul bloodline. But Rize refused to accept this fate. Disgusted by the idea of being used as a womb, she escaped the clan and the organization V with the help of Suta Washu Furuta. From that point, Rize lived a nomadic and chaotic life. After being taken in by Ghoul Sashi, whom she came to see as a father figure, her compulsive overfeeding drew the attention of the CCG. Her actions led to a raid, ultimately to Sashi's capture. Unbothered, Rize continued to move from ward to ward, consuming without remorse, until she finally met Kaneki. Even after the steel beam incident, Rize's story didn't end. Her body, still alive, was taken by Dr. Kihiro Kano, who used her regenerative kakuho as a biological resource. Rize was essentially farmed like a livestock, with her kagun being implanted into multiple other test subjects to create artificial one-eyed ghouls like Kurona, Nashiro, and even Furuta. In essence, she became the biological source of power for an entire generation of experimental ghouls. But it didn't stop there. In the climax of Tokyo Ghoul Re, Rize's body was used to birth Dragon, a monstrous, city-sized kagun that caused mass ghoulification across Tokyo, an apocalyptic event born from her body and suffering. Ultimately, after years of being used, tortured, and dehumanized, Rize was finally put out of her misery, ironically, by the very person she once tried to eat, Kaneki. Her arc is a tragic one, from rebellious child to femme fatale, to an exploited resource, to the literal embodiment of destruction. Rize Kamishiro is the ghost that haunts every page of Tokyo Ghoul. She never needed to be constantly present. Her influence was woven into every major event of the story. Rize and Kaneki aren't just connected by an organ transplant. Symbolically, they are polar opposites, mirror images of each other moving in completely different directions. Both were born into deeply broken families. Kaneki was raised by an abusive mother who beat him down emotionally and physically, and Rize was born into the Washu family, a powerful, cold-blooded family that wanted to use her as a tool, nothing more than a living womb to extend the bloodline. But here's the key difference. Rize chose freedom, Kaneki chose conformity. When faced with the cruelty of their respective origins, Rize rejected everything. She ran from the Washus, refused to be anyone's pawn, and lived by her own rules. She indulged her hunger recklessly, wandered from word to word, and refused to be tied down by morality, obligation, or consequence. Kaneki, on the other hand, constantly tried to fit in. He wanted to belong, to be accepted, to be liked, to be seen as good. Whether it was his mother, Hyde, Kuka, or later the CCG, Kaneki was always adapting to others' expectations. He sacrificed himself time and time again just to protect people around him, even when it destroyed him. Where Rize consumed others to survive, Kaneki was obsessed with saving others, even at the cost of himself. At the start of the series, Rize is untouchable, wild, seductive, powerful. Kaneki is shy, weak, and dependent, but as the story progresses, their paths invert. Kaneki is abused by Jason, suffers unbearable pain, loses his mind, and yet he grows. Slowly, painfully, Kaneki builds himself back up. He becomes High Sasaki, gains a temporary peace, a found family, a father figure in Arima. Then he reclaims his identity, becomes the one-eyed king, fights for the world he wants, finds love with Tuka, and finally becomes a father. His life starts in darkness but moves toward meaning, connection, and ultimately freedom. Rize, however, moves in the opposite direction. She starts off free, no rules, no masters, but her selfishness draws too much attention. Her body becomes the tool she always feared it would be. She is captured, harvested, mutilated, a living kakuho factory for Dr. Kanu's twisted experiments. Then she's repurposed again by Furuta, reduced to mere incubator for the dragon, the very thing she escaped her clan to avoid becoming. And in the end, she's too broken to even recognize her surroundings, let alone escape them. Kaneki, the boy who could never say no, becomes a king. Rize, the girl who refused to be controlled, becomes a slave. It's one of Tokyo Ghoul's most tragic ironies, and one of its most brilliant thematic contrasts. They start from the same place, they walk different paths, and they show us two very different answers to the same question. When the world tries to break you, do you give yourself to others, or do you live only for yourself?